Once again, it is Sunday school. Now let's take our seats and quiet down. Don't be doing any driving or operating heavy machinery. Just sit down and relax for a moment because it is Sunday school. So let us pray. Ol Sanuf Valresaji Gohu Yad Belata Ela Nusaha Ke Elazad Van Po Sobrozod Ol Rore Ita Naz the Pesad Gira Ata Maele Pereje Das Hoel Ko Kaa Nota Ho Zodemezod Od komimea tan nobelo zodien. Sobatahil ginenupe perege aladi das vaurebe sobolahegere sam. Kasaram mohora lakaba paere das zurnure nu sajikab remia danahe. Pilahe farezo dem zodnure zoda Adana gono ye dapil das hometohe. Soba ipemilu ipemis das sobolovepe zodemeda poamal od bog ira ita piape piamoel od vawan. Sodakare Eke od zodomoranu, odo sikaleka a, zodoreje lape, zodoredo nuko mada, ho athahe yada. You may now open your eyes. That was the first Enochian, or the angelic call of the Enochian Magick system, as interpreted by the Golden Dawn and later Aleister Crowley. It sounds a little Italian, doesn't it? Okay. That, in other words, it's the angelic call, the first angelic call, with a few extra vowel sounds added for the sake of the British tongue, I guess, rolling it off in a more musical fashion. And it works just fine, okay? So, in other words, the Golden Dawn and Aleister Crowley pronunciation of the Enochian calls, at least in my experience, works just fine. Now, was that the way that Dee and Kelly back in the 1580s were encouraged to do it? I doubt it. As a matter of fact, there's a more conservative pronunciation to, instead of Ol Sanu Ferraru Saji Gohu Yad Belata, it'd be Ol Son Vorji Goho Yad Bal Lanche Kals Von Pa Zobrazo Ro Reti Nazpad. In other words, you have to sort of handle several consonants in a row a little bit differently. And maybe we'll repeat that call before it's all over. The reason I'm doing that is because on this morning's walk, I was thinking about the Tablet of Union, which is sort of the master tablet that rules the four elemental tablets, okay? And imagine it's not very difficult to imagine that in Hebrew or in Kabbalistic magic, everything in the cosmos, at least in the cosmos we can wrap our brains around, is divided into 4 major categories. And those could be assigned for anythings. But what nails all of the attributions down is if they take the great name of God, Yod, He, Vav, He. And assuming that Yod, He, Vav, He, those four letters, made out of 3 letters actually, represents the totality of creation and existence. So everything's broken up into 4. And what is joining those 4s together is a 5th literally quintessential element, spirit, represented by the Hebrew letter Shin. So Yod He Shin Vav He. And the 4 letters of Yod He Vav He could easily be seen as fire, water, air, and earth. And the Shin, spirit, that joins them all together and rules over them all. So that turns Jehovah into Yeshua. And when Christian mystics really had a field day with that, okay? But imagine this whole thing is Yeshua. Yod He Vav He with a Shin. Okay? So the Yod He Vav He's, I guess I'll do it this way. The Yod He Vav He's would each have a subdivision, a little Yod He Vav He in themselves. Yod He Vav He, and then Yod He Vav He. Now, it's not the same order in the Enochian system, so don't be quoting me there. And what rules them is the Shin of that first column. And that sort of explains the Enochian system. Like that, see? X harp, the E of X harp would be like a giant pyramid, and living inside that E is an X sub-element. So, well, this is air, okay. So this is living inside the E, the spirit pyramid of air, is an air of air pyramid, and a water of air pyramid, and an earth of air pyramid, and a fire of air pyramid. And the same thing for living inside the master spirit pyramid of water, which is this H. And then we've got, spells out Hakama, and Hakama would be the entire elemental tablet of water that lives inside the giant pyramid of H. See? So, those are the 3 or the 4 archangels, if you will, of the Enochian system. X-harp, Hakama, Nanta, and Bitum. And ruling them all is an archangel of archangels, EHNB. So EHNB, if properly contacted, is activating this whole circus. It's the ringmaster of the whole cosmic elemental universe. And you can see that the Golden Dawn said, hey, well let's just show that with truncated pyramids and the sort of color coding. So you can see X harp here is primarily yellow, right here. It's a row of yellow for X-Harp and a row of blue, water, for Hakama, and a row of for Nanta, for earth, and a row of red for fire, Bitum. So it's like the whole Archangel of air, Archangel of water, Archangel of earth, Archangel of fire. And then if you look at it from this direction, you see the columns. A column of subangles. So this would be, I'm pointing at the Bitum thing here, the fire one. So this would be air of fire, water of fire, earth of fire, fire of fire. It's so easy, kind of when you see it here in a audio-visual thing, that it's easier to look at it and go, oh, I get it. Okay. Now, in the Enochian system, each of these well, how do you activate them? How do you get to them? How do you get them to come to you in vision? How do you activate this? There are 18 calls in the angelic tongue. You heard me read the first one just now. There's 18 of them. And if you can imagine that these calls set a certain resonance, psychic, if you want to call it, psychic resonance in the room, that when chanted or intoned with intent, trigger a subtle and sometimes more than subtle change in consciousness of the operator. As a matter of fact, as you say the call, you turn the entire room into that vibratory frequency, and that vibratory frequency is in harmony with that particular subdivision of universal consciousness that's represented by these particular angels. So, just like the King Solomon's temple was supposedly built in perfect proportions to the cosmos, and thereby it resonated with the same universal vibration of the entire cosmos. In essence, God dwelt in that building. Well, when you say these particular Enochian calls, the idea is your immediate environment turns into that particular vibration, and so the angel, if you want to look at it that way, that angel has absolutely no choice but to show up. And then if you've properly prepared yourself and are ready to receive a vision and are as attuned to that as they are, the particular vision of that particular frequency of consciousness starts running through your brain. Okay? Now, I started to think, well, X-Harp would be like the Archangel of air. And he's got 4 angels working under him. Air of air, X, air of air, A, water of air, earth, or R, earth of air, and P, fire of air. It's perfect, okay? And when you've got the whole elemental tablet set up, you can see details. You can see who works for who is the boss angel of what boss, smaller angel, etc., etc. Now, the Enochians, for some reason, with Dee and Kelly, love this order: air, water, earth, fire. Exarp, Hakama, Nanta, Batum. Now, that is not quite Yod-He, Vav-He order, okay, that we're used to in Kabbalistic way of looking at things. Fire, water, air, and earth. When you do a pentagram ritual, it's air in the east. It's water in the west. It's fire in the south, and it's earth in the north, okay? But we may as well look at this as being arbitrary, as dictated by the limited dimensional space that we think we live in. So Enochian-wise, air, water, earth, fire is just as logical as fire, water, air, earth. And so I started thinking on today's walk, classic angels are, let's see if I, where to go. I got one around here somewhere. I guess this is it. Raphael, Gabriel, Michael, Uriel. Now, Raphael is usually associated with air, Gabriel with water, Michael is fire, and Uriel with earth. Now, the Enochian system would have these two rows switched. So, I got it around here somewhere. Where did it go? Oh, I had a beautiful. Who knows? Who knows where it goes? Well, anyway. That being said, if you are uncomfortable working with the Enochian spirits, and you're comfortable with evoking Raphael, Gabriel, Michael, let me see where that went. I have to find it. What's to stop you from using the particular Enochian calls to activate angels that you're comfortable picturing? And my immediate answer is, well, there's not much stopping you from doing that. It's a little bit different. Okay, that's the Enochian way of looking at these. And that's the Kabbalistic way of looking at these. I thought it'd be interesting that Earth, Earth is, let me just do it this way. The element of Earth is an odd one because it's the lowest of the low, Uriel. It's the lowest of the low, and thereby it's connected with the highest of the high. That's why the princesses in the tarot, or the thrones of the aces, okay, they're treated differently. And when we lay these out like this, with in columns where this would be air, water, or it'd be this way, fire, water, air, and earth kind of thing. This column here would be an angel, literally an angel that's name was Allah Allah, Allah Allah. Sounds pretty cool to me. Oh, I have a wonderful new other chart. I don't know where it went off to that I wanted to share with you. Maybe I put it in the books themselves. But anyway. Now you think that all these calls, different calls for every tablet, every sub-element of the tablet, how complicated must that be? It seems complicated at first, but it isn't. The first call, the one I read to you, the first call activates the tablet of union. The second call activates the EHNB, the spirit column. Okay. Then the next 4 open up X-Harp, Hakama, Nanta, and Batum. And thereby they also open up the full elemental tablets of air, water, fire, or fire and earth. Okay. They also, in those elemental tablets, open up the native subangle of each of the tablets. So you recite the third call, you're opening up the entire tablet of air, but you're also specifically opening up the air of air subangle. Same thing with when you do 4, you open up the entire spirit or tablet of water, and specifically you also activate the water of water subangle. Same thing for the 5, the whole tablet of earth and the earth of earth. Number 6, the entire tablet of fire and the fire of fire. Then the next 12 calls systematically open up the non-native subangles of each of the tablets. And there's your 18 calls right there. Wow. There's a 19th call too, and that 19th call is used to jump out of this elemental universe and into the heavens and into the aethers, which they divide them up into 30 sections. Now, isn't that, it's so simple. Not really. But it's simple enough to explain in less than a half an hour. And if you're curious as to what our prayer was today, here's what it said. I reign over you, saith the God of justice, in power exalted above the firmaments of wrath, in whose hands the sun is as a sword, and the moon is a thrusting fire, which measures your garments in the midst of my vestures, and trust you together as the palms of my hands, whose seats I garnished with the fire of gathering, and which beautified your garments with admiration, to whom I made a law to govern the holy ones, and delivered you a rod with the ark of knowledge. Moreover, you lifted up your voices and sware obedience and faith unto him that liveth and triumpheth, whose name is not, nor cannot be, which shineth as a flame in the midst of your palace, and reigneth amongst you as the balance of righteousness and truth. Move, therefore, and show yourselves open to the mysteries of your creation. Be friendly unto me, for I am the servant of the same your God, true worshipper of the highest. Now you heard me do that in the Enochian. It's not really a prayer of a, it's almost a prayer in the first person as God. But anyway, the first call that you heard me, Ol Sanu Farsaji Gohu Yad Belata, probably sounded more like this. Ol Son Vorji Gohu Yad Balanche Kalzvonpa Sobra Zol Ol Ror Ita Nazpsad Greta Melperj Dies Holka Ka'a Nothoazims Od Koma Tanoblo Zen Sobathil Genup Purgi Aladi Das Urbs Obolhe Garsam Kasam Horala Kabapaire Das Zonrenj Kabirem Yadna Fila Farzim Od Znazra Aranag Od Gono Yapel Des Hom To Soba Yod Ipam Ul Ipamis Dies Laholo Vep Zamd Poamal Od Bogpa Aita Piapa Piamos Od Vawan Sakare Ka Od Zamran Od Kikile Ka'a Zorj Lap Zordir Noko Mad Hoath Yada. So you can see why the Golden Dawn wanted to put it in a way that you don't stumble on it as much as that. Anyway, that's it for Sunday School for today. We dutifully opened the Tablet of Union, and I hope I've given you enough information to at least to have you look into what everything is really about. You know, you could open up the Archangel of Archangels here. So we got Raphael, Gabriel, Michael, and Uriel. So the Archangel of Archangels would be that first column. There's a huge archangel that opens up them all. Ragama'a. Ragama'a. Or Rigimi. Or however you would want to pronounce it. Okay. Is that blasphemous enough for Sunday school? I hope so. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully, and continue to be good to yourself. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.